going on, everyone? So first off, it is very hot outside. I am still sweating. I just came back inside. Wanted to make this video because you know who else is hot right now in this Vegas heat? Scotty Pippen Jr. Scotty Pippen Jr. just led the Memphis Grizzlies to the Summer League title. He notched a triple-double, 23, 10, and 10. He's been very impressive in Summer League, very in control. You're starting to see that, you know, the years that he's kind of been and developed really starting to show itself. He looked good for Memphis last year, right? He got a lot more opportunity because the Ja Morant situation and then just various injuries and stuff, and he really was able to kind of step into a regular role for them, which I think went a long way for his development. And you're seeing that level of development really take shape. And I mean, even when he was with the Lakers, right? My comparison for him at the time was Tyus Jones. I was like, he reminds me a lot of Tyus Jones, which Lakers could potentially get Tyus Jones. But Tyus Jones was on the Grizzlies at that time, which I think is kind of funny. There's video from however long ago it was, where Scottie Pippen, I was like, hey, that's what the player comp that he really reminds me of. And I was like, he'd be great if he could get to that level, you know, a backup starting level. There were a lot of questions about like his defense and his size, right, being 6'1". But he has, again, really evolved and molded into what would be a Tyus Jones type, traditional, get guys going, knock down the three ball, you know, create his own shot, create for others. So I really do and am impressed by what he's become in such a quick turnaround. He's still only 23 years old, right? And the reason I'm even talking about him, because, like, you know, what does that have to do with Lakers, is because there is this sentiment going around now that's like, hey, the Lakers really messed up letting letting Scottie Pippen Jr. walk. And a couple things to that. I want to kind of dive into it. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, so let me know down in the comments. But first off, like I said a few moments ago, he got a huge opportunity to really expedite his development process, particularly last year, because he was able to get the minutes and the play time and allowed to kind of just go, right? Like that in and of itself goes a very long way. He never would have, or eventually, but in these last year or so, he wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to do that with the Lakers, right? The best thing that happened to him is him leaving the Lakers, or the Lakers letting him go, because it opened the door for him to continue to develop and then get the opportunity to kind of just play through it. It's what I've talked about, like with Colin Castleton and, you know, various other players. Like, you know, at what point do you just throw them into the fire? At what point do you just go, okay, like, here you go, just go out there? It's things that I've talked about, even with like Maxwell Lewis, Max Christie, right? Like guys that are on the roster, Jalen Hood-Schifino. It's one of the reasons I'm so defensive of Jalen Hood-Schifino. Like so many people are, Jalen Hood-Schifino, he's a bust, he's this, he's that. How do we know when he hasn't gotten to play, right? Like people were saying the same thing about Scotty Pippen Jr. That this dude's a bum, he's not anything, right? He was hurt during Summer League, and then it was like, man, like no one cared that the Lakers let him go until he started being good. But again, he was given that opportunity. That's what I've talked about with Jalen Hood-Schifino. Him averaging 2.5 minutes in garbage time what are you supposed to gain from that? How are you supposed to know what he can and cannot do? But in the same breath, again, the Lakers, they have to be willing to give these guys that opportunity. I'm not saying that you have to give Jalen Hood-Schifino and Maxwell Lewis and the, you know, Castleton and all these. I'm not saying you have to play them 40 minutes a game, right? But I do think you need to on occasion, right? Like, okay, you know, D'Lo's out tonight. Hey, JHS, you're playing 15 minutes tonight, right? And let them kind of get their hiccups. But again, like for Scottie Pippen, it was just kind of right. It was just timing, right place, right time, right? Like the Lakers were a team that were trying to win and win now. Not saying Memphis wasn't, but when Ja and all that stuff happened, right? Like that was it for them. So you have this team and the Lakers that were not going to give Scottie Pippen Jr. the opportunity and moment to kind of expedite that. Where the Grizzlies, that's all they did that season, right? Let's see what some of these young guys have, right? If the Lakers were in that position, they probably would have done the same thing, right? Memphis was essentially a tanking team last year, right? Let's get some of these young guys. Let's see what they can do. Let's see how they look, right? And some of these guys really stood out for them, right? Like Jackson and Scotty Pippen Jr. Like they were big for them. So then you get to now Summer League, and now Scotty Pippen Jr. He has all that experience, right? He has those strides and those steps he took throughout the course of last season that now he can translate. He has an unfair advantage in Summer League, right? Usually the guys that are really good in Summer League are the guys that have, on occasion, the rookies, but the guys that really stand out are the guys that are like, this is like his second, third year, right? Because they've gained that experience. They've had those moments, right? They've had that NBA level of development. And that's what Scotty Pippen Jr. got. So him dominating Summer League, that should be the case. That should be what's happening, right? Like he should be dominating Summer League, right? Where, with the Lakers, yeah, I think he'd probably still look good in Summer League, but also the Lakers have never been that development team, right? That's not their game. They want to now. That's the goal, is to shift. That's why they brought JJ Redick. They're trying to hire all these development guys. They want to have like a director of development, right? Because they need to pivot because of the new CBA. But prior to the new CBA, before we that happened, the CBA, the new restrictions on stuff happened after we let Scottie Pippen Jr. go, right? Otherwise, the Lakers may have kept him, but it was like, we got D'Lo, we got Jalen Hood-Schifino, right? We got all these things. And like now it doesn't really make, because now you got, like I said, Jalen Hood-Schifino, you got Austin Reeves, who they want to kind of make a point guard at some point, and you got Bronny James as like kind of your development guy, And so to me, like, I don't think the Lakers, like, I just think, again, right place, right time, like timing was everything in this situation for Scottie Pippen Jr. I'm still curious to see like what opportunity and how much does he get to play now that he's with Memphis and everybody's going to be back, right? Again, it's easy to let a young guy, like when you're like, we don't really care whether we win or lose games. We just want to develop guys, right? Like it's easy to let guys go out there just, hey, you get 35 minutes today, right? But it's not the same thing when it's like, okay, well now we're trying to win, right? I like Scottie Pippen Jr. I mean, I was high on him when we got him, right? Like, I really liked what we saw from him. I thought he was a guy that really could develop into that Tyus Jones type player. Like, that's what I envisioned for him. And, again, that's kind of what he's becoming, that Tyus Jones level player. But, I don't think the Lakers regret it. I don't think any, like, fans should be like, I can't believe the Lakers let him go. How could they type thing. I think it just, again, like you're going to hit some, you're going to miss some. It's part of the cycle, right? Like, Lakers could trade Jalen Hood-Schifino to a team and then he starts dominating and balling out. I mean, he was great in the G League. I mean, seriously, great in the G League. I get it's the G League, not the NBA, but that's a good sign that he's just better than everybody in the G League, right? Like, Jalen Hood-Schifino, everyone thinks it was a waste of a pick. He's trash. He's garbage, all that stuff. He goes to another team and balls out. All those same people are going to be like, why did the Lakers let go of Jalen Hood-Schifino? See, this is what happens, right? Again, I'm old enough to remember fans going like, Scottie Pippen Jr., let him go, bring in, Fudge, bring in these guys, right? Like, it's the cycle. Until the guy actually shows like, he's a real thing, right? It's always like, But that also comes with patience and development. And, in the defense of the fans, right, the Lakers have never been patient and development, right? Like, so it's kind of hard for fans to be like, let's be patient and see how this guy looks. Like, even with Bronny all the time, right? It's like, I understand there's clear just like hate for Bronny because he's LeBron's son. But there are some people that are just like, that have just that general impatience, right? Same thing with Jalen Hood-Schifino, stuff like that. And it's like, can we just like wait and see what they become, right? Like, can we give it, a couple years? Like, Scotty Pippen Jr. wasn't doing this stuff with us, right? Like, he showed some promise, but he wasn't great. Like, now it was just like, oh man, it's going to take a couple years for him to really kind of get to an NBA level. Well, now it's been a couple years, and guess what? Now he looks like a real NBA player out there. But he also got the opportunity that he was never going to get with the Lakers, I mean, within the foreseeable future, because you have LeBron, AD, right? So you want to win now. You're not going to play him over D'Lo. You're not going to play him over Reeves. You're not going to play him, probably not even going to play him over Gabe Vincent, right? Like, just, again, it's just the circumstances. And I just think that Scottie Pippen Jr. just was a huge beneficiary of the circumstances. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, like, yes, huge benefit from just the timing of it all? Do you think, like, no, like, you know, he was always good? Did you always like him? Do you think the Lakers made a mistake letting him go? Do you think they should have kept him? You know, but congrats to Memphis, and congrats to you know, Scottie Pippen Jr., right? Triple-double, ran home the title. Beautiful thing. But anyway, again, I feel whatever your thoughts are. Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.